everyone, welcome back to Bearhug. It's been a long time, I know. I only did the one show and then never actually followed up on it. But here we are, January 2023, 2 days out from Royal Rumble. I can't remember the last time I was this excited about a Rumble, in all honesty. So I thought I'd have a little chat, little predictions, some more realistic and some a little bit more out there. As of now, 2 days out from the Rumble, there are only 5 matches announced. I think that's probably going to stay the same. Maybe a little pre-show warm-up match. Not that they do pre-shows that much anymore. Not in the same way that they used to, anyway. So I think we'll have probably 5 matches seems about right. First match on the list, we've got Bray Wyatt versus LA Knight. Build for this has been fantastic. The return of Bray Wyatt. This is his first match, I think. I don't know if they've had an untelevised one. And LA Knight, of course. Fantastic. Nice to see this guy after 20 years or whatever it is on the indies, where he deserves. Top of the bill, working with a main eventer on one of the big shows. I think this it's in the Alamo Dome, I think, from what I remember. So you expect about 50,000 people there, which will easily be the biggest show that I think Eli Drake or LA Knight in this case has ever done. Don't know how it's going to go. You have to expect probably that Bray Wyatt's going to win this one, which I don't think will do LA Knight any damage. Obviously, Bray Wyatt, former 2-time world champion, and LA Knight's really shone in this. They obviously seem to like him. He's realistically probably without jinxing him, probably the closest thing that we've had to Steve Austin since Steve Austin. So I think he's cool. I think he'll do all right whether he wins, loses or draws. What will be more interesting is what the hell is this match? It's the Mountain Dew Pitch Black match. Mountain Dew's not that big over here in the UK. I assume Pitch Black is a type of Mountain Dew, and they're pushing it hard, and this is a big old sponsor deal and what have you. Which, fair enough, whatever. But hopefully it's interesting. The name Pitch Black does threaten that it might be a bit dark in the lack of lighting sense, which obviously doesn't always work, like with the Fiend's red lights and things. So I hope they've tested the lighting on this one. Possibly expect some shenanigans with Uncle Howdy in this one as well. Maybe one of the other characters. Obviously, Bray has teased that he might turn up as a different character. It might not just be the Bray Wyatt that's been featured recently, including with that nice little piece with The Undertaker on Raw this week. It could be the Eater of Worlds. It could be the Fiend. It could be the Firefly Funhouse Bray. Who knows? Moving on, then. The Women's Rumble match. As of yet, not many people have been announced for the Women's Rumble match, as opposed to the men's, which we'll talk about later on. We so far only have 7 people announced for it, which to me makes me think that probably that means there'll be a good number of NXT talent in there as well, which is great. Realistically, that's the main show for the women anyway currently. And then beyond that, I think we're going to be looking at some returning stars, whether it be for full time or whether it be just a nice little Rumble appearance. Obviously, there was a lot of criticism this week because of the lack of the female, lack of women on Raw at all, but especially the cage match getting cut. And also the lack of female legends. I think the lack of female legends in particular is going to be because most of them are going to be in the Royal Rumble, which, fair enough, I think, probably. I don't expect any major surprises in this. I think the odds-on favourite is Rhea Ripley. That seems to be where they're going with it. So we shall see. I think she'll probably be there or thereabouts. So yeah, Women's Rumble. I think we've got, as I say, so far, Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez, Rhea Ripley, Candice LeRae, Shayna Baszler, Zelina Vega, and Emma, who I haven't seen any of since she returned. I don't watch weekly, unfortunately. I don't have access to it live, and to be honest, the adverts just get in the way a lot of the time, so I don't mind it too much. But yeah, I think Rhea Ripley's got this one, and we shall see about all of the guests. Wouldn't be surprised to see Mickie James again this year. I think that went down pretty well when she was in it last year. She's the Knockouts champion again. So who knows? Who knows? Next, we have listed the men's Royal Rumble match. This will be interesting. This is where we've got a lot more up for grabs. I think obviously we're going to have fewer surprises. I think we'll have one or two legends maybe, and quite possibly a couple of outside interests maybe. We've seen the BT Sport WWE Twitter page suggest maybe Switchblade Jay White might turn up, which is an odd one. I know BT Sport quite often go a little bit rogue with their social media, but that was a very interesting one for them to have popped out there and suggested. So we shall see. He is technically still signed to New Japan, but not for long. And there had been speculation he was on the way to WWE anyway. So I don't know whether they've offered a little bit of extra cash New Japan's way. So, but it could just be pure speculation. Obviously, the big one is The Rock. I'm gonna go out and say, if he does appear, he's not going to be a competitor in the Rumble. I think he might show up, but I don't think he's going to be a competitor. I don't think he's going to be an official entrant. However, one of his contemporaries, Steve Austin, I do think will be in the Rumble. There has been talk of, could he possibly be going on to headline WrestleMania? Actually win the Royal Rumble? I mean, it's an idea, because it would certainly make things interesting. And I think depending on what their plans are, obviously if they can't get The Rock. So yeah, I think if they can't get The Rock, actually maybe Steve Austin is a good shout for Roman, if they're thinking of keeping it on Roman. If maybe they are going to drop it from Roman on Saturday night, then also he works for Kevin Owens. Obviously, last year, him and Kevin Owens had a great match, and it'd be great. It'd be a really good setup. Austin beat Kevin Owens last year, so this is that nice way of Kevin Owens maybe getting that win back on Steve Austin. Because let's face it, we don't need Steve Austin as the world champion, but it'd be quite cool to see him in a title match anyway. Cody Rhodes is returning. That's been well documented. I think they've done that to not disappoint people. I think they don't want that Bryan Danielson disappointment wasn't in the Royal Rumble thing. As to where he goes, I don't know. They've said possibly Austin Theory. That would work. American Nightmare getting the US title. I think that works quite nicely. Drew McIntyre is obviously an option. Bobby Lashley and Brock Lesnar both seem to be in the Royal Rumble. Bobby versus Brock, though, looks like that's getting set up for WrestleMania for themselves. So again, they don't really need a title to fight over. Remember, it's a 2-night WrestleMania again. So realistically, they can get away with, well, they need other matches that aren't title-based to fill that card up. And I think the rubber match of Bobby versus Brock is spot on. Do we get anyone else? Is there anyone else? Obviously, we're expecting Sami Zayn in the Royal Rumble. Again, I think he works. I think he is someone potentially that it could set up. And obviously, it could be great for him to get it off Roman. He also works if Kevin Owens is the champion. And of course, it's the unified champion. It's both titles. Now, this is where my little bit of off-the-wall speculation goes. Because again, Rock doesn't need to win the Rumble. Rock doesn't need the world title. And realistically, we don't need a world title involved for Rock versus Roman. So what if The Rock causes Roman the world title match so that Kevin Owens is the double champ? And they've done this before a few times. What if there's 2 winners of the Royal Rumble? Obviously, they did it with, I think it was The Rock and Big Show one year. I think Austin did it one year as well. And the first one that I remember was in 1994, setting up for WrestleMania 10, and it was Bret Hart and Lex Luger. Both went out, they were their last two standing, went out together, feet touched the floor at the same time. Could they do that this time? If so, I think we get Sami Zayn and we get Cody Rhodes. Because Cody has been very open with the fact that he wants the WWE Championship, so the black belt as it currently is, because that's the one his dad didn't have. Whereas the Universal title, although obviously it's the same belt now pretty much, it's just a different piece of leather, arguably isn't the title that Cody wants. Arguably isn't based on that lineage. If anything, it's based on the lineage of the belt that Cody's dad did hold. So I don't think we're going to get that. So I think he's going to go, I want that title. And I think Sami will have to go for the other title. Could also lead to a triple threat. But I think it's a good way of getting both, maybe getting the main event for each night. Of course, it could stay with Roman. If Rock is completely off the table, then it works that way as well. You get Cody one night and you get Sami Zayn the next. Cody probably wins on the Saturday of WrestleMania, and then Sami Zayn, what's going to happen on the Sunday? Will we see a finger point of doom and Sami fall down to Roman so that Roman gets to keep the Universal title? Or do we see the fairy tale come true? Which, of course, is another place where they could potentially bring The Rock in and then set up a 1-year angle of The Rock versus Roman, the true head of the table for WrestleMania 40. I think the more I think about it, I think that's where it happens. But yeah. And then the final match on the card, obviously I've talked about the men's world title is the Raw Women's World Championship. We've got Bianca Belair and Alexa Bliss. Another good setup for this. Bliss turning back into a darker character. We've seen Uncle Howdy on Raw confronting her. This is going to be really nice, really interesting. Don't know where this is going. Obviously, it's a big night for Bray Wyatt and Bray Wyatt characters. It does look like Bo Dallas is probably Uncle Howdy. I have seen rumours that maybe Uncle Howdy versus Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania. That would be cool. I'd be happy with that. But, and then maybe Alexa Bliss is the linchpin, the middle point of that feud going forward of Bray versus Uncle Howdy. But we shall see. I don't know. I don't think Alexa Bliss will win this one. I think that's Bianca Belair's, because I think they'll want to set up Bianca and Rhea Ripley, or maybe Rhea Ripley and Charlotte. Obviously, going back a couple of years when Charlotte won the Rumble, went after Rhea Ripley for NXT. Could be to do with that. So who's to say? Who's to say? But yeah, my predictions. Bray Wyatt beats LA Knight, but I don't think LA Knight comes out bad of it. We'll see a little bit more of the Uncle Howdy stuff and see where that's going. Women's Royal Rumble match, Rhea Ripley, plenty of guests. I think we're going to be looking at least 10 legacy wrestlers in there, plus maybe up to 10 NXT girls, I think, possibly. Bianca Belair beats Alexa Bliss. Again, I think we'll see some Uncle Howdy in that. And I honestly do not know about the two others. The two other matches. I have if Rock's around, if Rock is good for Hollywood, WrestleMania, Roman Reigns drops the titles to Kevin Owens because of The Rock setting up that match. If he isn't, Roman keeps it. And I'm going to go a double Royal Rumble win. Cody Rhodes and Sami Zayn. Let's see what happens.